4 years of standoff with China in the Himalayan frontier has meant that the entire focus of the Indian military as well as the national security structure in India has been on the China border, which has opened up new challenges for India's national security. And one of the pillars or one of the outcomes or fallouts, if I may say so, has been the improvement in the pace of infrastructure building along the China border in the northern areas. And to do all that, one agency has been clearly responsible and has been very effective, and that is the Border Roads Organization. How has this affected India's mobilization of forces in the Eastern Ladakh sector, as well as rest of the Himalayan frontier, is something that all of us are watching. And to tell us more about how the Border Roads Organization or BRO went about it, we have with us former DG or Director General of Border Roads Organization, Lieutenant Rajeev Chaudhry, who played a pivotal part in upping the ante, as it were, during those crucial years of the standoff, which began in May 2020. So let me first welcome General Rajeev Chaudhry, and let me ask him straight away that while we'll go to the genesis of BRO's resurgence since to 2016, if we look at what has happened in the past 4 years as a fallout or as a consequence of the aggression shown by China, we see that the Border Roads Organization has really delivered. So give us a sense of what it took to up the ante and to increase the pace of construction as well as the infrastructure along the border. General Chaudhary?
That's a very good question to begin with. Actually, Galwan, today, when we look back, I take it as a trigger for infrastructure acceleration on the borders, northern borders especially. And it assisted us in understanding the dynamics of the infrastructure, especially in Eastern Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. So to say, when Galwan happened, and at the same time there was COVID happening. So these two forces were pulling us. When I say us, is BRO to deliver. Now there are a whole lot of pressure because all the CPLs, that is casual paid laborers, had gone back to their places because we draw most of our people from Jharkhand. 70% of our workforce come from Jharkhand, Dumka. Dumka is the place. So they had gone back. And on the other side, there was a pressure to deliver and increase the road connectivity to the last mile where we wanted it to be. So to respond to any such critical situation in future if it happens. Now to understand this whole dynamics, I took some time and we straight away chalked out some strategy that how to handle it. Firstly, it was the factor of funding. If you take the record or the statistics of last 10 years from today, when the present government took over, the BRO budget was dwindling at 2,000 crore or so. It was not going more than that. And fund is the most important thing to take the infrastructure ahead. If you don't get regular flow of funds, your cost overruns and time overruns delay the projects. And that was
Right.
what happening all along. So we had a lot of interactions with Finance Ministry and NSCS and all other stakeholders that we need funds. And I think government responded very positively. And if you take the statistics from 2021-22, the BRO budget of capital for GS, that is for army roads, has increased to 160%. That has never happened. Every year
Okay.
there's an increment of maybe 10%, 12%, which is a regular increment to cater for the escalation factor basically. But having increment of 40% every year for now 4 years, it's incredible. Never heard of. So one could understand, and that support was really uh, great for BRO to go ahead.
Right.
Second thing was technology. We have been using very primitive technology in, especially in road constructions, tunnels, bridges. So I reviewed all the technical pamphlets what we are following, and we took out a policy that hereafter all the new products and technology will be used. That really helped us in accelerating the pace. Just to give you some examples, like we started using steel slag in place of aggregate, because if you go to east, you don't get proper aggregate. It's a weak aggregate. You have served in east for a very long time. You know the how the things happen there. So we were importing all our aggregate from Odisha and Jharkhand, and that
Right.
costed a huge amount in transportation. So we started using new technology like steel slag, and steel slag is stronger than aggregate. Its crushing strength is more, to say in the technical terms. And India is the second largest steel producer in the world, 143 million tons in a year. And 15 to 16% of the byproduct is a waste, which is steel
Right.
slag. So we
I'll
tied
just,
up with,
I'll just interrupt you, General Chaudhary, just to explain
yeah,
to our viewers what is the aggregate and what it means. If you can tell them
yeah.
that, and then we'll move on to the steel slag where it is used instead of aggregate.
Okay. So when we make roads, first we put sub base which consists of bigger stones. Then there is a base which has got aggregates, smaller stones. Means you have to break the bigger stones into smaller stones. So it makes a layer of that sub base, and thereafter the black topping is done of the road. So
Right.
the middle layer is was weaker in eastern all the eastern states where we work. So we
Because of
make it
monsoon, because of heavy monsoon and rains in northeast, that is the problem,
absolutely,
that it washes away, and therefore you won't
absolutely.
need something new like the steel slag. Is that
New
right?
thing.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely, you're right.
Hmm.
So we tied up with Tata Jamshedpur, and they gave us one full rake free of cost, and we started doing this road construction with steel slag in Arunachal. So that is one. Secondly, plastic waste. Now it is we are saying waste to wealth. What our honorable Prime Minister has been trying to profess, that use waste and convert into wealth. So first was steel slag, which is a waste. They have to dispose of. In fact, it's auctioned near free of cost to the people who want to take it away by the all the steel industries. Second was plastic. So wherever we were working, we started striking a MOU with the towns and the villages that you give us all the plastic, we'll shred it in very small microns, and we mixed up with the bitumen. So what happened when we laid the bitumen, it becomes impervious. And as you said again, in the east, it rains very heavily. And that rain water goes into the sub base and the substrata and damages the road. So this plastic was not only utilizing the waste plastic, but also making a layer which is impervious to the water ingress, and it is serving double purpose. So it is again second thing what we started doing in a big way in especially in east. Thirdly, we started purchasing new equipment and machinery, and more so, I passed a stricture as government instructions were there to go Atmanirbhar and use indigenous machines. So
Hmm.
we procured a lot of machines and equipment which will accelerate our work and make it faster and maybe cheaper also in the long time. So a lot of excavators and snow clearance equipment were purchased, and we made a policy. As you know, in East, a lot of bailey bridges what we used on the small rivers, rivulets, and nalas, they get washed away during the floods, flash floods, and that is not a good thing to happen. So, and these are some of these bridges are class 18, class 40, class 24. If I may explain in a very normal term, that is, these bridges were of low classification that they cannot take heavy tanks or maybe artillery guns or maybe multi-axle loaded trucks,
Hmm.
which was the requirement of the day that we need to push our equipment, armament wherever it is required in critical situations. So we
Right.
made a policy that all our bridges in the forward areas will be class 70. That is, it can take on all kind of tanks, it can take on all kind of guns, it can take off all multi-axle loaded trucks. And
Hmm.
we struck a MOU with GRSE, that is Garden Reach Shipping and Engineering Builders,
Yeah.
which is Kolkata based. And they gave us 60 bridges, 30 have already been laid on the critical places where you want to take these kind of things ahead as required. So that
So
was a very
strengthening of the bridges that you started, culverts, bridges,
culverts.
for carrying heavy equipment to the forward
Absolutely.
areas. Right.
Absolutely. I'll come to culverts like as a thumb rule. In a kilometer, there are supposed to be 4 culverts to drain out the hillside water. So these
Right.
culverts used to take a lot of time to construct. You have been all around in East. You understand how we make the roads. So they used to take 3.5, 4 months, maybe more than that sometimes when it rains. And they costed approximately one culvert will cost you 34 lakhs. So we wanted an alternative which is faster, cheaper, and more sturdier. So we went in
Hmm.
for pre-fab culverts, which are which cost one culvert cost 23 lakhs. So we are saving 11 lakhs on each culvert, and they are just picked up with the help of the cranes and placed there. So how fast it made our road construction activity. Such can there are multiple such examples which I can give you. So which started making our road construction activity faster and the bridges also faster. Now the bridge, what I'm trying to tell you is class 70 bridge, modular bridge it is called, and this is the first bridge in the country which is double lane. If you would
Right.
have seen the Bailey Bridge, you have to stop one side of the traffic and then
Yeah.
it is alternating, which is not a
Correct.
very good thing again. So we got double lane, this modular bridge class 70, which was first of its kind, was laid at Flag Hill. It is short of Doklam, and thereafter, of course, we started using everywhere. And this bridge costed one third of the bridge, same specification bridge, which was being imported from other countries. So that
Sure.
saved us a lot of money. And this can be launched in a week's time. And it is as good as permanent bridge. So that is a revolution in the bridging. And we are the only agency in the country which has done structural audit of all our bridges, that is 908 bridges and the roads. Because on the roads also you see there were no crash barriers, no arresters, which caused accidents. So today on the border road, anywhere on the northern border or anywhere for that matter in the hills, we have laid a policy that these components will be there, and they are part of the DPR, that is detailed project report when it is made. They are part of that.
Sure. Sure.
So this is a major change what we have brought in the planning process pre-execution stage. And we are doing our DPRs now using LIDAR and drones. Earlier it was done in a manual manner, like people used to walk on ground and survey the road alignment. But today
Hmm.
the most latest technology being used, and we also asked for a dedicated satellite for BRO in the times to come, which will
Right.
come very soon.
So,
Yes.
no, I just want to interrupt you. So, what I can sort of surmise from what you've said so far is infusion of funds, adequate funds, timely funds, infusion of new technology, infusion of technology for preparing or pre-planning stage, and then execution has been the hallmark of the BRO functioning, which has changed over the past 7, 8 years, if I may summarize it at the moment. At the moment, till what you've said, but you please continue.
Yeah. And third thing was taking care of our workforce. You see, we employ approximately 90,000 CPLs from various places, largely coming from Jharkhand, as I told you in the beginning. And 30% in each place where we work, like in Ladakh, central sector, in Uttarakhand, and Sikkim, and primarily in Arunachal. 30% is the local labor, which is kind of
Right.
a understanding with those people that they should also, we should generate some job for the locals also. That gives a very good integration with the locals, and they support us in lot many other things.
Sure.
So their standard of living was not very good when I joined, and they used
Mhm.
to be living in. You have seen them wherever you will find very shady kind of a place. You will know, okay, BRO is working there. They used to cut the bitumen drums and sit on it and make a small hut and stay in that. That was not a very good thing to happen. Though it was
Yes.
not mandated, but then we found ways, and we gave them pota cabins and centrally heated shelters in places like Ladakh, where our 70% work is above 14,000 feet. So sub-zero temperatures, you can't be functioning in a tent or something like that. And we gave them a lot of personal gear to wear, especially the jackets, the goggles, the shoes, and all other kind of things. So that gave them some kind of dignity and to provide them social security. Earlier there was no life insurance for these people. When these people
Mhm.
sometimes lose life working in this difficult terrain and harsh climate conditions. So there's no arrangement to give them any compensation. So Honorable Raksha Mantri passed a policy that term insurance scheme was launched, and rupees 10 lakh is paid straight away to a person if he or of a person when he gets fatal casualties there to his skin, and other compensations are also there. So this
Right.
is the thing. Third thing, what we did to bring dignity and social security. And fourth thing, what we did, I traveled to all the far-flung places wherever we are working, meeting people, understanding their problem, and giving decisions on the spot. Because the decision-making process was very sluggish. It used to come up from RCC to task force to chief engineer to ADG and to DG headquarters. That was
Mhm.
the time, and one season we used to lose in giving decisions. So I traveled a lot and gave decisions on and gave recognition to these people. We started Twitter handle, now X. So we started showing the work what the BRO does, so it became visible to the people who never knew what BRO is. So today
Indeed.
lot
Mhm.
of people know
Indeed.
what BRO is. That was
In
essential
fact,
to give them.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. It was essential to let people know what you were doing. That's what you're saying, I
So
suppose.
you need to give him recognition, who you are, what you are doing for the nation building. So that
Right.
gave them a lot of good self-esteem, and they started getting motivated and inspired to do more work. In fact, at places we started double shift. First, it never happens. Double shift, two shifts I was using to accelerate the work. So these are some of the basic things what we did to hasten up the process. Some roads were happening for 20 years and they were not getting closed. And today, I'm telling you, we are making a road. You have been to Chushul, Dumki, Fukche, Demchok. It is a
Yes.
strategic road running parallel to the LAC, running parallel to the Indus. And this 121-kilometer road has been conceived, planned, and being constructed in 2 working seasons. It has never happened like
Right.
this.
Which is
And another road,
unbelievable. Unbelievable. Absolutely. Yes.
yeah,
Hmm.
2 seasons. And another road we are making the same. You have been traveling to Ladakh extensively from Likaru, Migla, Fukche. This is also a strategic road which in the Chumar sector will be used to take the troops ahead. This is 64 kilometer, and this will break our own record of Umlingla. Umlingla is 19,024 feet. This is going to be 19,400 feet. So this will be the
Okay.
highest road again in the world. So such
Right.
places we are working in 2 seasons. We are going to finish all these roads.
Right.
Till Galwan, we had made only 3 tunnels. In
Hmm.
last 4 years, we have made 4 tunnels. We are working on 10 tunnels, and 8 tunnels are in the pipeline. So you
Right.
can well understand how much attention and focus is on the tunnels. Tunnels are the future of connectivity in mountains. Till now, we
Sure.
had a very regressive thinking that tunnels are not required, they are costly. But in the long time, tunnels are the only means to connect faster, and all weather connectivity can only be provided by the tunnels in the mountains. Some of the tunnels which are going to come up very soon, they are even higher than the Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc is 15,771 feet. And we have
Right.
always been looking at the tunnels in the Alps with a lot of awe and admiration. But tunnels, what we are dealing with today is higher than Mont Blanc. They are
Absolutely.
Barlatla, Rachungla, Tangangla, Kela. All these tunnels are higher. Imagine
Absolutely.
this world is looking at India today. We used to be,
Right.
everyone was looking at Alps, Gotha Tunnel and the Turin Tunnel and all that thing. But today, the world is looking at India. The kind of tunnels we are making, the mountains, no one's business. like Alps are very sturdy and stable mountains. It is very easy to cut those mountains, but Himalayas are young mountains, fragile mountains. To make tunnels in Himalayas is a very tricky thing and technically a very tough job. So
Absolute.
we are evolving. Very recently, on 9th March, Honorable Prime Minister has inaugurated Sela Tunnel, which is a major thing for Tawang sector. So such kind of things are happening. Atal Tunnel, you see, the tunneling is become, and we talk about airfields. We just finished Bagdogra and Barakpur, which are going to give a huge extension to the Air Force in the Eastern Command. And we are now constructing Neoma, which is going to be completed next year. In 2 seasons, we are going to make the world's highest air fighter base, which will be also used for civil aviation at
Sure.
14,700 feet. So
Absolutely.
our expertise, and in last 3 years, we have made 8 world records, 9 world records rather, including
Mhm.
Sela. So
Right.
we are much ahead of all those Western countries where we always been looking that we have to learn from them. Today they have to learn from us, and we are standing at places where they can't even imagine. Working at 15,000, 16,000, 17,000. Now Umlingla is higher than the Mount Everest base camp. It is higher than Siachen. So working there, I had to make shifts of only 2 hours because the blood used to start coming from your nose. The oxygen
Sure.
levels were 45% of the planes. So a whole lot of things were happening there. When
Mm.
it happened, it's all backstage, means people don't even know what is happening. So these are
No,
some
no.
of the things what we have been able to accelerate our work, especially in Eastern Ladakh, where we were quite behind in Arunachal, and the road head differential has shrunk considerably
Right.
in these 2 places. Our troops can be launched wherever we want to launch them in case of any eventuality or critical situations. We are very confident our security forces have moved ahead on the security metrics. So that's a great thing. And more than that, it is socio-economic upgradation of these villages which are there on the borders. Border villages have always been used as buffer zones for by the previous governments. Their thinking was different. The narrative was
Yes.
different. They used to think,
Correct.
okay, border village ko jyada, we don't have to develop too much because it might be, counterproductive. They might use it against us. But now today's government is not thinking like that. They are
Yes.
taking the road bang on the LAC. Today, Mana Pass is connected by the road. Your Demchok is connected. DBO is connected. Your Chushul is connected. Hot Spring is connected.
Yes.
Everywhere, Yangtze is connected.
Absolutely.
When on 9 December 22 the thing happened in Yangtze, our road had reached earlier, so our troops could be mobilized faster.
Wonderful achievements. My compliments to you and to Border Roads Organization and to the improvement it has shown and how critical infrastructure has been built when we have been pushed to the wall in 2020. I think everyone has risen to the occasion, including Border Roads Organization, and therefore I must thank your work and your organization's work, and also giving us time to discuss all this and sort of bring it together in a one formal or a short format program. But we'll come back to you with more questions when we have the occasion. But for the time being, I must thank you for your time and also tell our viewers that do travel to these distant areas, to Arunachal Pradesh, to Sikkim, to Ladakh, of course, and any other distant border areas that you want to, and you will find the BRO's presence, as General Chaudhary said, everywhere. So for the time being, it's goodbye, and do keep watching both our channels, Bharat Shakti as well as StratNews Global. We will bring to you such insightful conversations as and when required. For the time being, it's goodbye.